Alright, hey, HadesOmega here, and so this is the video. We're going to take a look at the KLX170 after the 24-hour endurance race, okay? So it was on, I think, the 3rd and the 4th. I'll put a subtitle below when exactly the date was for the race. This is 2 days after the race, and it's finally kind of stopped raining, so I can make this video. Okay? I haven't really touched the bike at all. The bike's just been chilling in the garage. I know it likes it because this bike was sitting in the backyard for a long time, okay? The last time I took it out is when we went to practice out at Dixon, man, and I had a blast riding this bike on there. Bike doesn't turn as good as the Sauron, but it's still a joy to ride. This is my first, my first dirt bike, all right? I rode dual sports and adventure bikes before this guy. And then after I started adventure riding, I had a DR650. Okay, guys, I went from a DR650 to a KLX140. All right, I wanted something that was easy to pick up when you drop it, and this is the bike. Okay, it certainly is easy to pick it up, and this bike is very confidence inspiring. When you ride it on the trails, you know that if you get into some kind of hairy shit, you can pick the bike up and you won't be stuck too bad. Okay, it may not be the fastest machine, but it'll get you from point A to point B. Okay, all right, so there's that. I want to thank my sponsor Liat, all right, for the gear. I wore their gear in the daytime, all right, because dirt bike gear. I bought this gear to race in the heat this year, all right, but I wanted to test it out in the daytime, all right, in the daytime of the endurance race, so it would, so I could see what it's like, and it worked great. Okay, so thanks Liat for sponsoring me. I got some of their rad gear, and it definitely worked really well. I did use the helmet for the whole race, all right, and especially in the evening part when it was piss and rain. These goggles are amazing, all right. They allowed me to see where I was going. I know if I had used my street bike helmet, it would have been fog city, man. But these goggles have like a anti-fog coating, kind of like a pin lock that prevents them from fogging, right? I won't say it won't fog at all, but once you start moving, it'll go away right away. Okay, much more better than other helmets, all right. And it took the rain, everything I threw at it, perfect. All right, this is my first time using this helmet, all right, and I liked it, all right. So thanks, Liat. And then I want to make a note. I want to talk about our team, all right. So HadesOmega was on Team Ramrod. I talked about it, how we all got the whole team together, but I was just thinking about it, and I'm glad I was on that team. Just looking at all the other teams, man, we were dedicated. We were dedicated no matter what happened. We were dedicated to trying to finish the race. All right, unless we broke both bikes and we couldn't race anymore, then yeah, we were committed to going on. All right, and on Team Ramrod, we never gave up. All right, guys, we never gave up. They never complained, all right, no matter what. No matter what happened, we tried to see it through to the end, all right. And HadesOmega was in the Army for 13 years, okay? Army Reserve and Army National Guard, and those are the kind of qualities that you see in a soldier. In a soldier, you got to work in the Army. You got to work in a team, all right? And our team definitely, had the Army values, okay? That's loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Yeah, see, I remember it all right? That's from basic training. So, all right, and yeah, everybody did their job, and they didn't complain, all right? I'm not gonna lie, I complained a little bit, all right? I hardly got any sleep. No, everybody hardly got any sleep, all right? I'll tell you that, man. We were really tired after the race, but we never complained, and we never gave up, all right? And that's the warrior ethos, okay? Never give up, never leave a fallen comrade behind, never, complete the mission, and yeah. So I want to give a shout out to Team Ramrod. All right, there was 7 of us in the beginning. We sacrificed 1 to send them to the A team, and actually the A team won. So good for you, Dave. It was a good that you got to go on the A team, because you guys won the freaking race, man. I don't know what they did with the purse money after, you know. Probably, I hope they split it up amongst themselves, that type of thing. And yeah, I didn't even know there was a purse. Okay, there was $500 purse for the heavyweights, and the $500 purse for the middleweights. That's pretty awesome. That's a great incentive to do this race. Okay, guys. Hopefully we can get an even bigger purse next time, and then award the other teams. You know, but yeah. So we got second to last. Okay, but I'm not complaining at all, because what HadesOmega says is, I don't care if we get on the podium as long as I have fun. And I had a ton of fun, man. I passed a shit ton of bikes. A bunch of bikes passed me. I did a lot of racing. That is the most racing I've ever done in 24 hours. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That is the shittiest conditions I've ridden in for 24 hours. Okay, even in adventure riding, yeah, I don't even, you know, we don't even do that. You know, you ride until the sun goes down. No, we rode. The sun goes down, you're still riding. If it starts raining, you're still riding. And all I can say is, man, all the riders, all the racers out there, all the teams, man, they were dedicated. When Mark came up to all the team captains and they asked them, hey, the conditions are going to get very bad. It's going to get even worse. It's going to be dumping freaking rain, and it's going to, you know, it's not going to be ideal. And he cast a vote to all the team captains whether they want to continue racing or, you know, end the race early, and everyone wanted to keep on racing. And I was like, I didn't even ask our team captain, because I knew everyone else still wanted to race. So I'm like, all right, if everybody's gonna race, let's go. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to wake up. I mean, I was awake already, but I didn't want to race at like 4 a.m. and piss and rain, man. But I did it. All right, I did it, and it actually wasn't that bad. When you were on the bike, it was like half as worse. All right, that's what I say. All right, it was good times when you're on the bike. I'll tell you that, man. And that's what we were there for. Okay, so. Okay, yeah, so I want to give a shout out to Team Ramrod. All right, Errol was our team captain. All right, Nick was my my racing partner, my squad mate. All right, I knew Nick from yeah. So Errol was on the Reno team. He's the team leader. All right, the team captain, and he's the one that built the bike that we were racing. All right, and he pretty much, yeah, he's the glue that held us all together. He's the one that got the whole team together, all right? And I've raced Errol a couple times, and I've been hanging out with Errol a lot, because he hangs out with Jeremy a lot, okay? And yeah, so that's how I know Errol. And yeah, they put me on his team, so it's all good. And then yeah, there was Nick. I know Nick because I've raced with Nick before. All right, he's fast. All right, Nick was in front of me. All right, so that's how I know Nick. All right, and then there is Owen. I've raced with Owen too. In the last race, all right, he raced Mark's KLX, actually the bike that got second place in the middleweight class. All right, and yeah, so I was glad to have him on the team. All right, and then there was oh, and then there was Samuel. All right, Samuel was our like starter. All right, he's the one that got it all warmed up for us. He was the first guy to start. All right, and yeah, he's from Oakland, and he's done all sorts of riding. He does a lot of dirt riding, and he does like automotive stuff too. I've talked with him. We have a lot in common. That's what I want to say. And there's Dylan. Yeah, Dylan came in last. Yeah, he was the last one to come in. We kind of just all came together at the last second. So some of us, this is what I say. There's Dylan, and Dylan did a great job riding. I got to watch him out there. I was like the pit crew for when they were out there. Yeah, so that was our 6-man team, and then we kind of pawned Dave off to the A team, but that was good. He got to ride some really fast riders, and they pulled it off, and they won the race. Okay, yeah. So anyway, I was really impressed with, the camaraderie of Team Ramrod. We hadn't known each other for very long, but we got to know each other pretty well in those 24 hours. All right, it was a tough time, but you know, we stuck together and you know, we finished the race. That's all that matters, right? You finished the race, and we were a group of freaking warriors. All right, all right. Okay, without further ado, let's go take a look at the KLX170. All right, let me go talk about the KLX170 first a little bit. Like I mentioned, this is my dirt bike. All right, it's actually not my first dirt bike. I started with a KX125. All right, an old KX125. I think it was like a late 80s or early 90s. It was old, man. It was old, and that's not my first bike I've ridden in dirt, but that was my first dirt bike. Okay, and I guess I wasn't that good a rider at the time, so it was difficult for me to ride. I just want to say, man, those two strokes, man, they just want you to open that throttle all the time, or else, you know, they won't go, and you have to shift a lot, right? So maybe HadesOmega was just not good at shifting, because that's why I ride an electric bike nowadays. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So the KX125 was my first dirt bike. This is my second dirt bike. All right, KLX140. And then I just kept on building it up. This was actually the first bike. This is the first bike I raced. Yes, this is the first bike I raced. Now I think about it, I think my first race was like a Hollister Hills Hare Scramble. I'm still racing those races too, and I used this bike in it. All right, and I had a whole lot of fun, and then that's how it just kept on happening. Eventually, I got into supermoto. This was my first supermoto bike as well. All right, I bought a set of wheels off of I think Planet Minis. Some guy was selling a set of wheels for a KLX140, and I bought them. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'd already done a couple track days, but I realized track days are really expensive, and on a mini bike, it's not nearly expensive. All right, so that's how I all got into the mini racing thing. All right, guys, HadesOmega's poor, and I didn't have a lot of money to ride big bikes, so I raced my little bike. All right. And then, yeah, and then we actually did supermoto racing with Supermoto USA. That was our first supermoto race, kart track racing, you know, asphalt racing, you know, that kind of thing, road racing. This is what I did. We did it on this bike, all right? So this bike has a lot of memories in it, and I can't seem to let it go, okay? I just want to say, I call this bike Old Faithful, all right? Because you know, it always runs and it always gets the job done, all right? And in this case, it did, all right? And I have to say, there was several teams that had KLXs, all right? The gray-haired piston pushers, they got second place in the middleweight division, all right? There was Slick Chicks Team B or something, Slick Chicks B. They had a KLX140 also, okay? There was a KLX230 out there, all right? And I think that was it. And there was KX also. There was KX65s out there, but yeah, there was like there's 3 other KLXs out there, man, and they all finished the race. So that is a testament to how tough this machine is. All right, it's really a die-hard machine. Okay, it's tough to kill. That's what I say. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been maintaining this as best as I could. You know, it's kind of like taking a back seat to everything after you know, all the electric stuff. That's what I say. All right. Okay. With that said, all right. I'm gonna go over what this bike is. Okay. So it's a 2001 KLX140L. Okay. It's the this came out before the full-size KLX came out. The KLX140G. I don't know what they're calling them nowadays. They have all sorts of funky names. But this is a KLX140L. In the KLX family of dirt bikes, this is the middle-sized one. Okay. This is the biggest one I could buy, so that's why I bought it. Right? And it's much taller than it used to be. Right? So this is a KLX 140 with a KX 100 or KX 85 suspension. All right. I got the front end first. All right. Just the front forks. The wheels actually fit. All right. Unfortunately, I had to use the KX brake, and the KX brake is just slightly smaller than the KLX. But it works fine. So one of the strong points of the KLX is it has good brakes, stock. All right, the front and the rear brakes are both disc brakes. All right, a lot of mini bikes in this class have a front disc brake and a rear drum brake. All right, and so the brakes very good. All right, and then later I upgraded to KX100 rear shock. Okay, and then I flip the linkage triangle down, and the KX shock is actually longer too, so it made this bike much taller. Before it was like kind of like a cruiser. It was like a raked the other direction. All right, it had a lot of rake in it, and so I had to lower the front. All right, but since I raised the rear, I can bring the bike up to its proper height. All right, I could probably lower the front again, and it will actually handle better, in my opinion. But like I feel. So this is a dual-purpose bike, guys. All right, I use this bike for a supermoto, and I use it for trail riding, and hair scramble races, and it's a trail riding bike. All right, and it does, and what this bike was designed to do, it does it very well. All right, it rides trails, and it's very easy to ride. All right, it's not the fastest bike out there. All right, but it'll get the job done. All right, it has 17-inch wheels. All right, I believe. Let me see. It's a 3.5 rear, and I think it's a 275 front. It's running a wheel set similar to like a Ninja 250 or something. Okay, it's running a 110 front and a 120 rear. All right, and it's 2 front tires, guys. So you have to I have to flip the tire around. All right, right now it's running a Shinko Stealth drag radial that was pretty much new before the race, and you'll see it's not new anymore. Even in the rain, your tires will wear out. I cannot believe. Yeah, that is bonkers, man. I always thought like, yeah, the rain will make it so you don't your tires don't wear out so fast, but they still kind of did. All right, so this is a slick tire, guys. This is a tire for racing. All right, it is DOT approved. So let me see. Yes, it is DOT approved. You can ride with it on the pavement. So that's probably why it did so good in the rain, is what I'm going to say. Me and my team were pleasantly surprised to see how well this thing rode in the rain. All right, it rode really well, much better than expected. All right, we could have pushed it hard, except for a couple problems we had. Okay, I'll go with about them later. Okay, so that's the suspension, all right, and the wheel setup. And it handles very good. I'm very impressed with the ergonomics and the way this thing handles, and its willingness to point it where you shoot it, that type of thing. It could definitely out-handle the Ramrod bike, because the Ramrod bike is big bike, right? It's big bike, long wheelbase. All right. Probably in a higher speed race, the bigger bike is better. All right. It's more stable as well. All right, but yeah, this thing is a little weapon out there. All right, I've raced this bike against other KLX140s, KX65s, the fastest mini bikes. All right, the fastest mini bikes. I raced this bike against it. All right, and how can a 140 keep up with it? Well, it's not a 140, guys. It's a 170. All right, so it has right here SX parts. All right, it has a SX parts sticker. I bought a kit from SX Parts. It's a 170 bore-up kit, all right? And what that is it has a piston and a new jug to increase the displacement up to 166 cc, all right? And then you round it up. That's a 170, right? If you guys didn't know, these are called KLX150s around the world, okay? In America, we rounded down. In America, we round down, and the rest of the world, they round it up, okay? So in this case, I rounded up. It's a 170, all right, guys? And I can tell you this, man, it freaking goes, all right? Every time I ride this thing, I am impressed by how fast it is, okay? I didn't spend a lot of money to make it that fast, also, is what I'm going to say, all right? I was looking at the kits yesterday. I think I paid around $300 for this kit, guys, okay? It has an SX Parts jug piston, all right? It's a higher compression piston, too. It has a racing CDI box, so you get a higher rev limit, all right? And it has a cam. It has a cam to match it. Okay, so the kit kind of moves the power band up a little bit, but it's still good. All right. In my opinion, it's a little bit harder to ride in the dirt now because all the power is up top, and then it has a KX65 carburetor. Okay, I took that dinky KLX140 carb off, and I installed a KX65 carb. all right, and much better than stock, but it's very, very, very finicky, okay? That's what I want to say. Like, it doesn't want to start when it's cold or hot, and it just doesn't like to idle. So, hey, that's one of the things HadesOmega is probably gonna change. I'm gonna change the carb with a different one, okay? One that's less temperamental than this one, right? But the KX65 carb was much better than the stock carb, okay? I feel like it's running out of carburation. It can't breathe enough. This is a 24 millimeter carb, all right, and I think you can upgrade to a 28 millimeter carb, all right. So that's probably where we're going. We can get more fuel into the engine, all right. And then, like, so how did it do with fuel consumption? A KLX140 is a freaking fuel sipper, man. I can only imagine the stock one, how much it eats up, but this was eating up a lot less fuel than the Ramrod 230. So honestly, I was afraid we were gonna run out of gas on the Ramrod bike, because like we were going through gas really fast. We had gone through like 8 gallons in like 12 hours, or like around that 12 hours. Yeah, we had gone through 8 gallons, and I'm looking at our fuel. I was like, man, we're gonna run out of fuel if we keep on going at this rate. But this thing sips fuel so efficiently, all right? This thing probably eats up half the gas the other bike does, okay? It's lighter too, so. Okay, and so I think that's it. I have a turbo throttle on the bike, okay? I wanted a throttle that opens quicker for supermoto. So supermoto and a dirt bike you got to do a lot of compromises, guys. What you do for one thing, okay? If I made this a better supermoto bike, it makes it a worse dirt bike, okay? So the way I made this bike is it's kind of in between, all right? I didn't upgrade the front brake, all right? I didn't, most supermotos have really big front brakes. I didn't upgrade that, okay? And I got a faster turn throttle for it. That makes it harder to ride on the trails, man. Like, cause it just, the throttle's just not that smooth. It's just you're afraid you're gonna whiskey throttle. But the power delivery is very tame on this. All right, is what I want to say. I guess, but it gets up and goes. Okay, guys. You would be surprised. Yeah, and that's all I can think about it. It's got bar risers. It already came with some, some Pro Taper handlebars. All right, the 7/8 handlebars. I think they're ATV high. Yeah, they're ATV highs. It also has a Pro Circuit T4 exhaust, and I hate it. It's so freaking loud. Okay. The good thing is when I did put the bore-in kit, it actually got a little bit quieter. It changed the tone of the exhaust a lot. It made it more bassier. Okay. So maybe we should just make the displacement even bigger. It'll get even quieter. All right, but now they got other exhausts out for this. Yeah. Other than that, to tell you the truth, the biggest bang for your buck, biggest bang for your buck, probably that bore-up kit, man. It just requires you to do engine work. All right, that's the hard part. But if you want something easy, and yeah, if you want a modification that's easy and will get you the most power, exhaust. All right, I think the exhaust was 200 or 300, same as the engine kit, man. Yeah, so it has a Pro Circuit T4 exhaust, and in my opinion, that's the easiest bang for your buck mod. If you want to make power for your KLX140, the exhaust, the stock exhaust chokes it off. I'm not gonna lie, the stock exhaust, it actually does sound pretty good for a stock bike. It doesn't sound too bad, all right, but with the Pro Circuit T4, you'll get the most power, for your money, is what I want to say, and it's easy to do. All right, you just change the exhaust. But the second, but like if you really want to make power, bore-up kit. It's cheap. It's just piston, jug, and all that stuff. But you have to do engine work to do it, to do that. Okay, so but the easiest is the exhaust. All right. It also does have it has a uni filter also. Okay, we can probably check that out. We'll see what that looks like. I actually haven't seen it for a while, so I'm kind of interested to see what it looks like. And then yeah, somewhere along the line, maybe we'll, I won't do it in this video, but we'll probably do a compression test to see how the engine is doing. All right, we're definitely going to do oil change and all that stuff, but for the most part, it looks okay. So let's go take a look at it. All right. All right, there she is. Old Faithful, HadesOmega Spec KLX170. All right, so here we go. So I'm not going to go over the specs or anything. We're just going to take a look at the bike and see how it does, and I'll go over some of the problems we had. All right, so the first problem we had, guys, was the bike didn't want to start. Okay, It's got, you can't see it, but it's got one of those Bike Master True Gel batteries. Normally those batteries are really good, even when it's cold. They're pretty good. But it was 40. It had to have been it was in the 40s. All right, it was in the 40s when we were racing. It was really cold, and I shit you not, man. I've been starting this bike up. I've been charging it. I have actually a little jumper starter thingy here. See this? Yeah, I had this jump starter thing to get the bike started. Okay, now we can fire it up in a bit to, you know, see if it'll start up. But I remember I charged the battery, you know, and then even it was still having trouble starting in the race. I attributed that to the KX carb, man. That carb is like, it's just, I don't know, it's really finicky, man. But when you get going, it's not too bad. All right. Okay, so where should we start? So yeah, we had hard starting. Okay, so it was hardest. You'd have to start it up like a two-stroke, guys. You'd have to like blip the starter and then give it a little gas to get it going. Okay, that's how you start most two-strokes, right? Okay. And I think we actually had to bump start it to get it going. This little jumper pack actually didn't do it. Usually this does it, but what I probably should have done was keep the jumper pack warm. All right, I think the cold got to the jumper pack as well. So the cold weather makes it really hard to start the bike. Okay, that's what really, so that was our first problem with this bike. Our second problem, the brake caliper freaking fell out. I don't know where the bolts are, but I had some bolts lying around. All right, and those are these bolts. All right, there's these kind of panhead M8 bolts. All right, I've lucky I had in my crate here, I have a little Tupperware box with a bunch of bolts in it. I use that for when I go adventure riding, because you know these thumpers, man, they just chew up freaking, they just vibrate everything loose. Okay, but I shit you not, man, I had took this thing to Dixon for practice, no problems. I practiced with it the day before the race, no problems. And then the first thing, within the first couple laps, I shit you not, man, within the first thing, Owen was out there riding, and I just saw him, he was going down the straight, and then I saw him, he just kind of kept on going straight. I was like, oh shit, something happened, I don't know what. And apparently that's what happened, man. The brake caliper fell off. Okay, when he came back into the pits, and the brake caliper was just dangling right here. Okay, you can see here, I guess the caliper was like bouncing around here. Oh yeah, they said sparks were coming out of the bike. All right, there were some people on the track, and they said sparks were coming out the back of my bike. And I'm pretty sure that's this right here. Okay, see this little groove worn into the caliper? That's not supposed to be there, guys. Okay, so yeah, it was just kind of just bouncing around on the counter here, and you can see this this rear rotor is kind of shaped like a freaking saw blade. Okay, so it probably sawed straight through that a little bit. All right, but when Owen came in, the caliper was hanging off like right here. All right, you can see that's why you see the American flag got all scuffed up here. I guess the caliper was hitting it and stuff. All right, and you can see here, these are the reflective tape that we added to the bike. My numbers are actually reflective too. They're house numbers, guys. That's what they are. Oh, there was a reflective tape back here. I guess it came off. So what a lot of the people did in the race is they put a little red light, like a bicycle light, on the back of the bike. And I think that's a good idea. If we're gonna do this race again, I'm definitely gonna put some kind of red light on the back of this. I could have easily just attached it to my fender bag right here. Yeah, actually, it'd probably be flopping around, so you might want to find a better way to secure that. But yeah. Yeah, so that's what this sticker is. Okay, there's some cheap reflective stickers that Owen had. There's one right here still, there's one here. This is the transponder for the bike. Okay, this is where you go underneath the transponder receiver and it records your lap times. All right, we were 21B3. All right, we actually had a different number than our other bike. Okay, we're supposed to tell them when we go out there, right? Yeah, so that was the second problem we had. All right, was the caliper falling off. Then the next problem we had was the throttle. All right, so this throttle I think is no good anymore. Man, look at this, it doesn't go back, it doesn't snap back at all. So yeah, I have to work on this throttle, man. What HadesOmega I think is going to do is it's not just the throttle, it's the carburetor. HadesOmega has a funky carburetor and throttle setup on this bike. It has a it has a turbo throttle on it, so you only have to turn it like a quarter way for it to be open all the way. All right. Before, I'd have to go like all the way down here to get it open, man, and it's kind of annoying. Not gonna lie, man, especially when I do it so many times. Okay, so that was the next problem. Yeah, this thing would get, no, it would get like this isn't bad. You just close it, right? But it would get stuck. The throttle would get stuck open and it wouldn't slow down. And that's super dangerous, guys. I'm not gonna lie. A handful of times it didn't want to slow down. I let go of the throttle. It still kept on going. I was like, oh shit. So I had to tell myself, oh, you better put the clutch in. Pull the clutch in. When that happens, just pull the clutch in. And hopefully it fixes itself. So, my thoughts on that are that the whatchamacallit, the throttle was water got in the throttle. All right, it was so wet, throttle got in the carb and the throttle, and then this happened. Okay, so like it doesn't go back. It used to go back, now it doesn't. So I'm gonna have to fix that. All right. So other than that, it ran spectacularly. Okay. Another drama that happened with the bike is Arrow crashed it. Okay. I think Arrow was the only one that crashed all day. All right. But I told him like, hey, you gotta go half throttle because it might get stuck if you go full throttle. All right. And I think he said that it still, even when you don't go full throttle, it still does the same thing. So yeah, that was a scoop. Yeah. So that's the scoop on that. I didn't have to. Arrow had a pretty bad crash. Good thing he was okay. His rain suit got tore up pretty bad, unfortunately. And he said him and the bike went sliding for a long time. Okay, he said he was just sliding and sliding and sliding. It seems like he was sliding and looking up the sky like forever. That's what he told me. I was like, oh shit, man. So I was like, how's the bike? I was like, oh, the bike is okay. I'll tell you this, man. This bike can take a crash pretty well. All right. I've crashed this bike a couple times on the track. All right, but I try not to. HadesOmega is pretty good at not crashing, and I didn't crash at all. Yeah, I didn't have any problems. Yeah, I might have gone off track a couple times, but yeah, I tried my best to keep it on the track, is what I'll say. All right, so yeah, there is that. I think this is probably, oh, right here, this is fresh. That looks fresh. Also, the bolts backed out. The bolts backed out for the handguards, so maybe that happened during the crash. I'm not sure, but I just put them back in. That's all I did. Yeah, everything got freaking loose on the bike, man. This 24 hour, well, yeah, we only did 12 hours on this bike, man, and all I can say is just put RTV on everything. All right, put Loctite and RTV everything, man, because stuff will come out. All right, look at it. Oh, I thought my wheel weight came off. I'm like, what the heck? That's residue for. So there's an oil here. Okay, I think this oil is from the shock. All right, that's what that oil is. Yeah, the rear shock. Oh yeah, that's another problem, guys, we had was the rear shock. The rear shock is blown on this thing. All right, there's no more. I noticed, like, hey, you know what? It's got no more oil in it, man. It's just, there's no dampening anymore. This shock needs a stiffer spring and it needs more oil. It needs a rebuild again. I rebuilt it when I got it, and like a dumbass, HadesOmega forgot to change the seal on it. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Mention. Yeah. Remember one of the first problems we had was the brakes. Well, the brakes are worn out. Check this out, guys. Look at how far the piston. Oh yeah, there's like no brake pad in there. Yeah, there's literally almost no brake pad. So the rear braking was pretty much non-existent, guys. Okay. That's what I'm gonna say. Also, this happened in a previous race. All right, I kind of bent up this guy. What is it called? The chain guide. Yeah, my chain guide is all bent up, so I had to go buy a new one. But I've been using the same one the whole time. Okay. Also, the chain that we used was this is a primary drive. I think it's just a regular chain. All right, it's a regular roller chain, or it's not even a heavy duty one. All right, this is the one that I've run on the Suron before. All right. and they're very good. I've never had a problem with primary drive chains, okay? Other than, yeah, you need to adjust them every once in a while. How does it look? It looks like it needs an adjustment. Yeah, it looks like it needs an adjustment. Hold on, 35 to 41. Let's go check right now. Gonna need a lot of lubrication too. The bike just got so wet, man. All the lubrication on everything came off. Yeah, so speaking of the crash, so here's the funny thing, guys. Check this out. KLX170 rear brake pads. I had them in my garage, all right? I knew the brakes were, you know, needed to be replaced, and I kind of slipped my mind. Okay, there's that. All right, and there's this KX100 rear shock seal. I knew the shock needed to be rebuilt, and well, it took a shit during the race. All right, I already knew that. All right, I already knew that, guys. So that's my bad for not. All right, and like, you know, when I pitched the idea that, hey, we're gonna use my bike as a backup bike, all right? Because I told them, hey, this poor thing has just been sitting in my backyard and it wants to get ridden, all right? But I knew there was issues with it, all right? So, but we never planned to use this bike, okay? This was supposed to be our backup bike, and we had to use it at the halfway mark, okay? So, yeah. I'm glad some of these bolts didn't come out. I probably want to check every bolt on this thing to make sure it's torqued down properly and it's got Loctite. The plastics never come out. I've had problems with the bolts backing out for the plastics in long races, and we didn't have any problems with that, fortunately. All right, a lot of this stuff stayed in. We'll check the air filter out in a bit. All right, so shock is blown. All right, there's hardly any dampening, and the shock is under sprung. Okay, HadesOmega is going to try to get that's already I'm not gonna lie, that's a stiffer spring already, guys. This was like the adult spring or something. That it's a BBR spring, and it still wasn't still not stiff enough for this bike. So that's what they told me when I was doing a suspension thing setup. All right, so here. Yeah, so Arrow had a crash, and you can see I don't have my foot peg sliders anymore. They're all gone. I don't know what happened to them, because both of them are gone. There's supposed to be one on each side, guys, and they're all gone. One of them had a skateboard wheel on it, and one of them had a little nylon puck on it that I made myself, all right? And it's gone now. So I think we're just gonna go with Warp 9 ones. I've seen how people put them. You can just put them like right here or something. Yeah, I think mine was one of the only bikes that had a kickstand as well. All right, this bike is super freaking tall, guys. When you put it on the kickstand, it goes like this, almost 45 degrees. All right, this bike is a lot taller than it used to be. All right, so is that better for supermoto? In the dirt, it is. Yeah, we launched this thing, but we launched this bad boy. This thing can get air, right? But it's not. The suspension isn't that awesome. I mean, it has KX suspension, but it doesn't not weigh as much as a KX, man. A KX is way lighter than this, okay? But yeah. So I think in the crash, this got scraped up pretty good. You can see that this skateboard wheel, well, you can see the bolt is pretty scratched up. So I might need to clean that up a bit. And then we'll have to take I don't know, it looks fine, but it looks kind of funny. The bolt is supposed to be in the center of this skateboard wheel, and it's not. So, but it did its job, I'll say that. Probably took a little bit of the track with it. That's what I want to say. Yeah, see how this one is in the center. I can tell Arrow crashed, the bike crashed on the left side. Okay, definitely crashed on the left side. So right here, okay, it handled it pretty well. I think I've crashed this bike before too, so and here, all right, the handguard's pretty bad, and also here. Yeah, dude. He said it slid for a long. He said him and the bike slid for a long time. So yeah, you can see the plastics are all battled out on this bike. Yeah, it's got this fender that Mark from Shasta Supermoto hooked me up with. It is the freaking floppiest fender ever, man. Okay. Ooh, some kind of crack here or something. That's not good. But yeah, it looks okay. All right, the forks look okay. That's what I'm gonna say. They don't look like they're leaking or anything. Probably should clean up these stanchions a little bit. But yeah, it looks like they got a workout, that's for sure, man. They definitely, the forks are excellent on this bike. If there's any part of the suspension that that is not lacking, it's the forks. Okay, the forks are actually really good. It is a joy to ride this thing on the trails. Its suspension, it soaks up the rough stuff a lot better than my Light B. Okay, that's what I want to say. All right, not quite as good as the Redshift though, but it's much lighter than the Redshift. I'll tell you that. So yeah, there it is. Let's go check the oil level. It's on the stand right now. So. Okay, there's nothing on there right now. We're gonna go in there, give it a couple turns, see how much oil's in there. I think we're on the driveway, so it's tilted away. If it's a little bit low, I'll understand. All right, but let's see. This thing doesn't burn oil at all. This is a healthy engine. All right, and I guess when Errol dropped it, it must have lost some oil. It's at like a quarter. All right, so not bad. That's how much oil was in there. Man. Yeah, I would say that's half because we're on an incline a little bit. You can see my driveway is on an incline, so. But it won't be if I turn it left. Let me turn the bike left a little bit, and we'll see. Okay, let's try this again. We'll see how much oil it ate up after 12 hours. But this thing never eats up oil. Okay, I always check it. Like I have to safety wire this thing for we didn't safety wire it. I don't think anybody safety wired their oil thing because they knew that you had to get in there, you know. Okay, there we go. Check it again. Okay, about a quarter. All right, it went through a quarter. It's normal for engines to consume that kind of oil. That's what I want to say, but not bad. Every time I checked it, it was full, guys. So I think it's not bad. It definitely wasn't low, right? It must have, maybe when Errol crashed it, it probably went through some oil. All right, but that's good. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what this is. I think this might have been me a previous time. I can definitely tell Errol dumped it on the left. So okay, yeah, as you can see, there used to be paper plate numbers on this. Paper plate numbers are actually really good, guys. From what I've realized, they work really good. If you use a black marker and a white paper plate, it's really visible. Okay, guys, but it's paper plate, guys, and we were riding in the rain, so you can see these previous tech stickers. They're barely hanging in there, guys. All right, and I drove this thing through an atmospheric river on the way home. Okay, guys, and it's still thing. All right. All right, so I'm gonna say, so there's supposed to be a paper plate here, and there's supposed to be paper plates here, but they disintegrated. They're gone. There's a little bit, so you can see there's a little bit here left. All right, you can see some of the blue. It was actually a pretty good paper plate. I think the KLX170 guys, yeah, I think they were the ones that hooked me up with the paper plate. I think they're called Frozen Bros or something. Thank you for letting me borrow your thingy, man. The numbers helped. All right. Well, they helped for most of the races. That the piss and rain, man, it just didn't thing in. All right, there's the chain. All right, chain is needed some lube. I'll tell you this, man, during the race, that chain looked freaking super clean, man. The water just had washed all the lubricant out of the chain, man. The water was the lubricant, guys. Okay, yeah, let's go check the slack on it. Okay, so it's supposed to be 35 to 41 is the chain slack. I'm gonna go 41. Okay, I'm already think we're gonna be really bad. So okay, I'm just gonna go check it real quick. Oh yeah, baby. It's bad, dude. It's really bad. Okay, it's I'll just tell you right now, I can probably stick my finger on the top of where the limit is on the caliper. And like I can probably stick my finger and it's out of spec. Okay, so the chain is really loose. Sprocket looks okay still. These sprockets last forever, man. Yeah, so the chain definitely needs an adjustment. It's about 5-6 millimeters off, okay, from the loosest spec. All right, so yeah, that it's a good thing the chain didn't come off. It's really loose. Look at it. Wobble, 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 wobble. You can see it's been dragging on the wheel too. So this chain is really close to the wheel. Okay, sprocket looks fine. There's nothing wrong with that sprocket. It handled that 12 hours, no problem. Okay, front sprocket. All right, I forget. Is it? I don't know where I got this front sprocket from. I think it's a Sun sprocket. Okay, or a JT sprocket, something like that. This is actually a wider sprocket too. I think this is a 14-tooth sprocket. The stock is like a 13-tooth sprocket. It looks fine too. So the sprockets hung in there pretty well for 12 hours. I'd imagine they could probably go another 12. The engine is pretty dirty, guys. Look at that. A lot of water came in, man, and we didn't have any electrical problems other than, yeah, the bike didn't want to start sometimes, you know. Yeah, the venting system is not very good on this too. There's my catch bottle for the carburetor. Okay, but yeah, man, it hung in there really good through all that rain, man. When the going got tough, man, the KLX said, hold my beer. I'll show you guys what I can do. And it surely did. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, that's all I can see. It's so the oil was about 1/4 of what it should be, which is still okay. It's not optimal for endurance race, but yeah. Whenever I checked it, guys, if we had time in the pits, like there's a red flag or something, I would check the oil and it would still be full. Okay, so this thing didn't eat up a whole lot of oil. Now I think the rings might be going bad already. So I just want to say, maybe after that race, I'm not sure. It seemed to be smoking a lot after the race. So I want to say we might want to go pull the spark plug out to see what it looks like. In fact, yeah, let's do that right now. Okay, so we didn't have any electrical problems. I'm really happy with that. Look at the muck that is encrusted on the exhaust pipe. Okay, there's a lot. I'm not sure. This looks like tire. I don't know what that is, man. It's like a mud or tire. It looks like tire. It looks like it's rubber from the tire. All right. Oh yeah. Speaking of the tire, let's look at the tires. So you can see, wow, we were leaning the bike all the way to the edge. I leaned this bike all the way to the edge, guys. It's pretty worn out here, and it's pretty worn out here. Let's get a okay, I got a tire gauge here, all right, to tell you how deep the tread is. In the center, there's plenty of meat, all right, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, we're just peeking into the red, all right, just a little bit. You can see the wear bar. There's still, we haven't hit the wear bar yet, so definitely the center is fine, all right. However, that's the other wear bar on the left side. Okay, so that's the wear bar on the left side. As you can see, it's at the wear bar, guys. That is it. This whole part right here, this edge of the tire, all gone, man. The left part. All right. If you go a little bit this way, you're in the red. You're in the red here. You're in the red. You're in there. There's nothing. You're in the red on the very edge. All right. So it looks like we're not leaning it all the way over to the edge for too long. It's still in the red a little bit. Okay. So this front tire is done. Unfortunately, it's time to get new tires, man. All right. So here's the rear. All right, you guys are wondering what tire this is? This is a Bridgestone S20 Evo. All right. Yes, it's kind of an old Bridgestone tire, but it was a good tire for, you know. I think I have a couple races on it, and I took it to Dixon, and yeah. So when I wasn't riding the Light B, I was riding this bike. Okay, guys. I think I rode with this at Horse Thief Mile 2. So I've had a lot of races on this one. Now this rear tire is pretty fresh. I replaced this not too long ago. I think I replaced it just last year, just a little bit, like at the end of the year, and I hadn't been riding this bike a whole lot. This is just like a practice bike at that point. So this is a Shinko Stealth drag radial. All right, Shinko. It's a FOO3RR. I think that means it's like a soft compound, I think. And this is a 120. All right, this is 120 front for the Shinko Stealth. Okay, it is a dot tire also, so that's probably why it was pretty good in the rain, is what I'm going to say. All right, and it flipped the other direction. All right, guys. If you guys don't know, when you run a front tire on the rear of the bike, you need to flip it over, right? Because the forces that the tire was designed to withstand are braking forces on the front, right? Well, now you're going to do accelerating forces. It's other direction, okay, guys. And I have to say, just flipping the tire, it still held great. It still holds great on the thing. If you don't flip the tires, it's like I heard it's if you're trying to fight, it's fighting itself. The tires are, it won't handle properly, okay, guys. So if you can see here, we're pretty much out of tread, guys. It's almost a slick tire. This is a slick tire, but it's got tread. There's almost no tread, guys. So if I stick the gauge in there, there's like 1 millimeter, less than a millimeter or something. Yeah, it's gone, man. It's pretty much bald. All right, this one, the very edge, still red. All right here it's red. Here it's red. It's pretty much, yeah, it's all worn out except for, but here's the worst, man. There's pretty much no tread left on the side of the tire. Yeah. This tire wouldn't have lasted 24 hours, I'll tell you that, guys. Yeah, you can look at how uneven the wear is. So we were racing counterclockwise, and that's what happened, guys. You can see there's actually siping too. This tire has a special siping to, to wick the water away. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, you can tell it's like a flat track tire, right? Everything is all worn out on the left side, man. Yeah. Time to put the dirt bike tires back on. But yeah, you can see this side much more tread left. See, we're just kind of peeking into the red on the right side. Where are the wear bars on this? Oh, right here. Okay, there's a wear bar right there. You can see we're getting close. We're getting close to the wear bar. I think that might be a wear bar too right there. All right, so the right side is okay. That might last another 12 hours, but the left side, oh my god, dude, the left side is smoked. There's nothing left. There's nothing left on the left side of the tire, man. So same thing with the others. Well, the other one is pretty worn evenly, actually. This one is not too bad. This doesn't have that much uneven wear. Yeah, it's not bad at all. The front, there's a lot on the top, and there's not so much on the sides, but the front is okay. But the left, dude, it wore hella fast. This is a soft tire, guys. This is designed for racing, so it's designed for drag racing, but nonetheless, it is still a soft tire. It's pretty good tire, is what I'm gonna say. All right, and apparently we find out that this is a good tire in the rain as well. So if you put it on the rear of your bike backwards, man, it'll do the trick. Okay, guys. So there you go. What else? Oh yeah, we're gonna look at the spark plug. Let's take a look at that. Let's go pull it out. I probably should change it regardless. We'll do a full tune-up on the bike. The top end might need a rebuild, man. I put a lot of hours, a lot of hard hours on this bike. I'm not gonna lie, man. And it just, it's just delightful. That's what I would say. Okay, here's what it looks like, guys. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. If it was smoking, you would see oil on that. It's not smoking, guys. I suspected it was smoking, but it's not. I don't know. But yeah, that looks actually pretty good. It's like a little black, maybe a little bit on the rich side, which is fine, which is great. This thing runs really rich when I take it to higher elevations, so it runs like shit in Reno, I'll tell you that. That's why I like riding the electric bike up there. Okay, I'm gonna go put it back in. For now, I will definitely change it. All right, guys. It doesn't look like it needs to be changed. It doesn't look worn out at all. I should probably check the gap, but I would still ride with it like that. Okay, so we're gonna go take this air box out, and then we'll check it out. Where is the freaking screw for this thing? Like, it's hid in here somewhere, man. It's somewhere here. Oh, right here, it's right here. Okay, it's hiding under my number. Yeah, it is kind of a pain to get to the airbox. Okay, gotta get an 8mm. Okay, let's go open this bad boy up. See what it looks like. You guys get the picture, right? I just gotta take all these bolts out. Okay, yeah, air filter looks good. Okay, yeah, you know, bike still looks good, man. It still looks really good. The oil looked okay. The oil didn't look dirty or at all. You know, it didn't have much oil, but it was fine. The spark plug looks good. Air filter looks good. All right, it probably could use a little cleaning, but overall still looks really good. I was gonna say, yeah, this is where the intake is, guys. The air goes in right here and it hits that, so that part's dirty, but still all around it is still look clean, man. So it's not bad. We'll definitely give the bike a tune-up. All right, guys. So yeah, chain looks like it needs a adjustment. Sprockets look okay. Air filter looks okay. We'll still clean it. Spark plug looks good. We'll still clean it. Forks look good. Rear shock is blown, guys. Okay. Yeah, I guarantee you, if we get on it, it's like if I sit on the bike, it's like a pogo stick, guys. So, and we raced it like that. Okay, and it still did great, man. So just imagine if we had a proper functioning shock, it would be even better, right? Throttle, yeah, we have to go figure out what's wrong with this throttle, man. It is no good, no bueno. It's like a cruiser throttle. All right, it could be, you know what, I see that that the grip is kind of pressing right here a whole lot. That could be the problem. It could be this is pressing on that. That's why I put these here. All right, these guys, the little sliders. So yeah, let me go pull. Let's go pull this guy out. Maybe it'll become better. Okay, guys, that was the problem. Okay, it was the grip. The grip. That's what I thought. The grip looked like it was kind of funky. You could see the throttle sticking out there, and that's not normal. Well, I pulled it out as far as I could, and now it goes back closed. Oops, that was the problem. It was a simple fix, man. You just have to move the grip out. So I guess from, you know, doing this so many freaking times, it got, you know, it was pressing on this thing, man, and yeah, no bueno. So these are here, so this doesn't get stuck on this. This is like a polished housing, and this is rubber, man. This thing will stick to that a lot, and it's supposed to rub on this, but I guess it got shoved up on there so tight that it was so loose. Okay, guys, so yeah, I found out the problem. It was something so simple, man, and it caused us a lot of grief during the race. All right, so maybe next time what we do is I put a safety wire. Maybe I can just pull this grip donut off, and we'll put a safety wire right here so the grip doesn't move. Now the problem is if the grip still moves with the safety wire, because this throttle is so smooth, man. That's why this thing moves in and out so much. Man, I wish we had one of those metal throttles that's like knurled or something. I tried to get one of those, man, and I couldn't get it to work with this. But it works good again, so as you can see, snaps back like it's supposed to. All right, not super fast. Maybe we could use, maybe we could lube the cable a little bit, or maybe I'll just replace the cable. But yeah, but so what we'll do is we'll move it back a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit. All right, and then we'll put a safety wire around the grip here so it doesn't move back. But the problem with that is, though, if it still does move with the wire, it's going to be harder to move it back to where it was. So yeah, I don't know what to do. We could put something here to stop it from moving to like a donut or something, but well, we don't want this. We don't want this rubber part of the grip to touch the throttle housing, because this is really sticky, all right, and this is really it's really smooth. The two and two together, man, it's gonna get stuck, you know. So that would be like all bad, you know. So so yeah, well, hopefully the safety wire will do the trick. We'll keep it from moving in. So that's what we'll do. Okay, so that should keep that from happening again. So maybe I don't need a new carb. I don't know. Well, I still kind of do want to get a new carb, because I feel like it's kind of falling flat in the top end. All right. Okay, guys. So that's the state of the bike. I hope you guys enjoyed the inspection. This is the inspection after the Shasta 24-hour team endurance race. All right, it took place on February 2024. Yeah, so let's go over everything again. Okay, I lost my foot peg sliders. All right, the bike crashed on the left side of the bike. It's kind of scraped up here. Okay, I've got no foot peg sliders. They've disappeared. I don't know where they went. They're probably still in the racetrack somewhere. I'm missing 2 bolts for the caliper. All right, you can see the caliper scraped up on the bolts here. Hopefully we won't have to take these out anytime soon. I don't think so. They'll probably just stay on there. Yeah, so I've gooped these bolts. I have to remember to goop these back up whenever we go to the track. Thing is, whenever we take this wheel off, we got to goop that back up. So one thing that might be good is to, I don't know, can you really safety wire this? I don't think you can. I suppose you can probably just get, if you can get a bolt with a hole in it, you can probably run the safety wire to like right here or something. Maybe, I don't know, is that safe? Because I think this floats right here. Yeah, this is supposed to be floating around. Yeah, that was nuts when that came off, man, I'm telling you. I've never seen that happen before, man, but it did. Yeah, so we're missing 2 bolts. Also, there's no more brake pad on this. That's my fault, okay, guys. I should have replaced that before the race. It had slipped my mind, okay, guys. You can see the piston is all the way out, man. So that's why we weren't getting a lot of braking power, okay. It looks like we probably should replace the brake fluid too. It's kind of brown, all right. So we'll probably do that at the same time. Oil was at a quarter. Oil looked like it was in great shape still, all right. At least from what we saw on the dipstick, I didn't see any metal shavings or anything. Oh yeah, last thing, we'll fire it up before the end, all right. Spark plug looks fine. We'll still replace it, all right. We didn't have any electrical issues other than like, yeah, didn't want to start, you know. The grip, okay, the sticky grip, we found out what the problem was, is this, the grip was pressing into this too much, all right. That's why it got worse and worse. We kept on gripping it, and it kept on sliding and sliding in there. So what we'll try to do is safety wire this in the future, so hopefully prevent that from happening. All right, what else? The forks are fine. Air filter looks okay. Could use a cleaning. All right, so yeah, this bike will get a whole refresh. So we're gonna do a not a refresh, but we'll do a tune-up on it. Okay, chain is loose. All right, really loose. It's way past the spec, but it's still hung in there. Sprockets are fine. All right, shock is blown. Shock needs a new seal and fluid in it. All right, that's my bad. I should have replaced the seal last time. So I knew it was leaking, and I knew that like at some point it's not gonna work any good. It's not gonna work good anymore. And well, that was the race, man. That's what happened during the race, man. It was blown already. So they're like, yeah, there's no dampening in it. Like, oh, there's probably no more oil in it. I knew it was leaking, so that's my bad, dude. If I could find maybe like an aftermarket KX shock for it, would be nice, like a Öhlins. I've seen the Öhlins before, but those are very, very expensive. So. But for sure, the shock needs a rebuild, and we need to put a stiffer spring on it. So we'll probably do that at the same time. So lots of work to do on the KLX, guys. But I mean, it's still hung in there pretty damn well. As I want to say, it took a crash and kept on going. And yeah, and it's super dirty. We'll go clean it. I shit you not, dude. It was dirtier than this when. After the race. There was like dirt and asphalt and stuff all over the bike. The bike got a good wash on the way home, is what I'm gonna say, because we had that atmospheric river. Okay, but we'll throw some engine cleaner on there. The engine is pretty dirty, man. It doesn't look brand new anymore. All right, maybe I'll change my little catch bottle here. It still looks like it's doing its job just fine. You can see there's a lot of that asphalt stuff everywhere, like the top of the engine still has it. We'll probably check the valves out at some point, is what I'm gonna say. This racing CDI, very reliable. I've never had a problem with it. Okay, I carry the stock one around just in case if that one is not reliable, and it sure is. So it's there to stay. Okay, and yeah, that's all I can say. The bike, look, after 12 hours of racing and on a 24-hour race, it did pretty good. All right. Do I think those? Do I think this would last a 24-hour race? Yeah, not that rear tire though. I think if we're gonna do another 24, if we're gonna race this in a 24-hour race for 24 hours, we would probably want a less stickier, a harder tire. We want a harder tire, like some kind of street tire that would last longer. Okay, because these tires grip really good, but they wear out really fast. It's almost done after 12 hours. So had we gone another couple hours on it, there probably would be no rubber on that tire left. So okay, that front tire needs to be changed also. All right, probably not as bad as that one, but that was a pretty new tire, man, and we smoked it in like 12 hours. I'm not gonna lie, I've had a lot more than 12 hours on that tire though. Okay, exhaust looks fine. Yeah, oil level probably needs a little more oil, but we'll just change the oil. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to change the oil on this thing. The problem with the KLX is it takes so little oil. There's not an oil cooler on it too, so, but it doesn't care, man. This thing, it will keep on running no matter what. Hot, cold, it'll still run. Okay, like I said, this is Old Faithful, man. It'll get you to where you need to go. All right, so I believe this is a fantastic endurance bike. like I had thought. All right, and this confirms it. Okay, well, it hung in there 12 hours, just as long as the other bike did. Okay, so for the last part of the video, let's go fire it up, and we'll let it warm up a little bit, and then yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna put some fuel in it. Okay, let's see how much fuel is in there. This was the last, yeah, it should be pretty low. It should have been like around, man, there's just dirt everywhere. Yeah, it's about half. So about every hour it eats up half the tank. So I think you could probably do 2 hours on this tank on the track, and it'll probably be pretty low. All right, but we filled it up every hour because just in case. All right, but this is a very, very fuel efficient bike. Okay, let's fire it up. I don't know if it'll start. It's pretty cold right now. Oh, there we go. Fired right up. Look at that. All right, it's a little cold, you know, but yeah. Here it fires up fine. When we're at Reading, it doesn't. So, so yeah, this bike is very finicky about the environmental conditions. Is what I want to say. If you go up in elevation, it just choked out by gas, you know. So it could probably use better tuning. All right. But okay, we'll let it warm up for about a minute, then we'll rev it up a little bit, and that'll be the end of the video. All right. And yes, fortunately, we didn't have to use my jumper pack. So what I probably should have done, I should have charged this all the way. I don't leave it charged all the way. I leave it like halfway charged, you know, because you don't. This isn't. You know, you don't need a lot of power to start with. This thing has a lot of power, okay? But yeah, I think definitely I will upgrade the starter on this. There's a more powerful starter you can get for this, and I think we need it, man. I think it's time. You can see it had a hard time you know, pushing the engine around, right? So, all right, see you guys in a minute. All right, there she is, man. You can hear the Old Faithful KLX170's exhaust rumble. There you go. Sounds good. Good compression. Okay, when you get on it, it moves a lot of air. I think the air filter might be a little bit dirty because I heard it run a little bit different when I put the airbox back on. All right, but it's better. I feel it's better to run it rich than lean. All right, guys. It'll be more reliable if it's rich. I mean. All right, here we're gonna go give it a couple revs. So there's a little bog. There's a bog if you get on the throttle too much. See, if I get on it really fast, it chokes it out. But if I roll onto it, it's fine, okay? That's why you got a clutch, right? Okay. Yeah, boy. It knocked all that dirt off the bike. Look at all the dirt on the ground there. Alright guys, that's the sound of fun right there. Alright. So thanks for watching my video. All right, there's my KLX170 after the 12 hours it did during the 24-hour endurance race. There's a lot of smoke coming out of it. I don't know where the smoke is coming from, man. It's burning something. It's burning something. It's not something. There's something on the exhaust that's burning. I don't quite know what it is, man. But I shit you not. Every bike that I saw come in into the pits after it was on the track was just steam coming out of the bike from like everywhere, guys. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before, man. This is pretty nuts, man. Because the bikes are like so hot on the track, you know. But I think that's the important thing, to keep the bike at its optimum temperature. You don't want it to get too cold, but you also don't want it to get too hot too. So too cold, too hot, not good for the bike, all right? Okay, thanks for watching. HadesOmega out. Hope you guys enjoyed this, our little inspection and my story about my KLX170. It's been a while since I've done any videos on it, but it did us good. Did Team Ramrod pretty good. All right, thanks for watching. HadesOmega out.